What's going on, Commanders fans? It's Anthony Armstrong back with another episode of the Believe in Commanders show. I got my man Brian Murphy down there in Atlanta. We're celebrating another Victory Monday. We're going to talk about that Victory Monday. We're going to talk about the Sean Taylor installation at the stadium, but we're first and foremost going to talk about that game. So, Brian, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in Atlanta. I'm doing well. I can't say that about my Falcons fans, friends, and family here in Atlanta, but the Commanders got the job done. Another Victory Monday. That's 3 in a row. Hey, I love stacking up these wins and stacking up these victories. So I'm in a good mood for a Monday.
Yes, indeed. And you never complain for a win. You never
Right.
complain about it. You take them because in this league, they be ugly. They're
Yeah,
going to be ugly sometimes. But you got to
absolutely.
take them because they all count the same. I mean, it's crazy to think. Who would have thought that on this November 28th of 2022 that all four teams in the NFC East would be basically making the playoffs if the season ended today?
It's wild. It's wild, especially 2 years ago when they were under 500 as a division. The division winner was the Washington football team at 7-9. To see where they've turned around from, and they're all pretty hot. They're all pretty solid. I mean, the Giants have been on a recent skid, but the other three teams are hot right now, and they are by far the best division in football, and it's fun to say that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Another good week of football, and it was a good week. If you did some betting, I got to look on the picks. But Brian, tell them
Yeah.
about our sponsor.
Yeah, we are brought to you by Bet Online. We appreciate those guys. We are in the heart towards the end of football season. I don't want to even think about the end because I'm loving it so far. But basketball is back too, and Bet Online remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends. And don't forget, it's your continued source for all sports wagering information. And it features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. So it's always the fastest and easiest way to bet the NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, golf, all of it. Esports are on there as well. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and BetOnline, where the game starts.
There it is. Yes, indeed. Game started yesterday, the 27th. At noon.
Noon for you, you
Sorry.
Central folks.
Yeah, sorry.
The 1 o'clock kick for us here in the Eastern time zone. But yeah, it was a sloppy game. I think we saw the weather was going to be sloppy, which normally you'd think that it would be an issue, but for two teams that love to run the football, it was kind of ideal weather, sloppy, and just put the ball on the ground and run the heck out of it, which both teams did. It wasn't pretty. I think you already said that. It was not pretty. Scoring 19 points is in today's NFL is never pretty, but hey, a win is a win. You can break down the details, but it feels a little bit better, and it's a little bit easier to digest once you get a win.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you're going to be critical of the tape anyways, right?
Sure.
Like I said before, I want to be critical when things are good. So this is a good situation. Team is one. Now let's dig and see, hey, man, you really got to improve here, A, B, and C. When things are bad, then that's when we got to kind of lift people up and pat them on the butt a little bit. But overall, the weather, I didn't know it was going to rain. I didn't know it was going to be that bad. And in some situations, I feel like they probably threw the ball more than I was anticipating with it being so rainy. So, watching on TV is definitely hard to tell the severity. But all in all, what were your overall thoughts of the game?
Well, I thought, when you don't play your best football and you still find a way to win, that is a great thing. Like you said, there's a lot to be learned and a lot to be taken from this win. They got gashed. I mean, the Falcons were pretty much doing what they wanted to on the ground, as we knew that they were capable of doing. I think they had 4 guys that were right around 50 yards. So they came out to 167 rushing yards, which we were bragging on the Commanders. They were only allowing like under
4 yards
100.
to carry.
Yeah, they were allowing like 94 yards over their recent win streak, or their recent hot streak. So to get punched in the mouth a little bit and then still come out with a victory, that's got to feel – it doesn't feel good, but it feels better than losing and having to go back to the drawing board. So now this team realizes even when it's not playing its best football, they can still get the job done while still making some changes. So that was the biggest thing for me. I thought it was kind of nice that they got punched in the mouth a little bit, and hopefully they'll respond next week against the Giants.
Kind of bloodied their lip a little bit. I mean, that was an all-out just old school heavyweight, like Tyson versus Holyfield minus the ear bite. Like that was just a physical bout. I mean, you're looking at 167 yards rushing versus 176 yards rushing. Those teams were just sitting there just pounding body shots all day. 332 total yards for Atlanta, 314 for the Commanders. I think one of the biggest things I came in there knowing that Marcus Mariota was going to be effective with his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was way more effective than I was anticipating, and probably way more than they were anticipating too.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. He kept it at like the perfect times. Like you can overdo that, I think, with the quarterback trying to run a little bit into where it's not effective. But he only carried the ball 6 times, but for 49 yards. He was their third leading rusher. Algier had 54, Patterson 52, Mariota 49. So yeah, he was effective, and he set up his passing plays with his running. Even the touchdown that he threw back over to the tight end was set up because they were nervous about him running, or they were nervous about the run. So yeah, he was effective. It showed what they've been doing really well. And I gotta say, the Falcons blew this at the end. I can't believe they were running down the Commanders' throats, took it all the way to the 2 or whatever it was, and then decided to throw. That blew me away, but I was very thankful. But as far as the rushing attempts, as far as the Falcons running the ball, yeah, they were solid, and they put the Commanders to the test.
Yeah, they really did, and it was a big play by Kendall Fuller at the end.
Oh yeah,
I was watching on my phone, and then I had literally looked up my phone, and it was about 1:03 was on the game.
Yeah.
And I saw the ball was on like the 3-yard line. I was like, I put my phone down. I got upset. I was like, daggone it. And then we were playing some little flag football, and I come back around. I look, and then like, hey, they won. And I was like, whoa. I was like, they were right on the doorstep. What happened? So I was super excited to see that play. I'm sure Marshawn Lynch was at home and was like, should have ran it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, that's one of those situations you kind of trick yourself into it. It looks like they were running sort of a little angle route with Cordell Patterson, so they chose the right guy to do it. But hey, it's a rainy field, rainy situation. You're 3 yards from the end zone, But hey, it's neither here nor there. We'll take the W. We'll take that W. We'll move forward. Let's talk about the good guys, though. Let's talk about the guys in the Berg. Well, they were in all black.
Yeah. One of the bigger things from yesterday was that the black uniforms finally got a W. They are now 1-2. We were looking at 0-3, and I was ready to throw them in the trash. So it's nice to get a win in those sleek uniforms.
All right, yes, and then this is actually the last time that they're set to be worn this year.
Probably, yeah.
So I think they said they're going to shut them down after this game. So Heineke 14 for 23, 138, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, really bad interception. I think that seemed to be a predetermined throw, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that was Jahan Dotson's 1 target of the game, and it's kind of tough to even call that a target because he was about triple covered, and it was a bad throw. I thought Heineke struggled. I think there was a point where he was like 0 for 6 or 7, but credit to the Commanders, credit to Scott Turner. He was like, all right, my quarterback's not doing it right now, so I'm just going to run the football. And I want to go back and look, but I feel like they ran the football maybe on 7 or 8 straight plays on one of those drives, and that was the bread and butter. For as well as the Falcons ran the ball, the Commanders ran the ball that much better, and that was really, really fun to see.
Yeah, it was definitely good to see. You could see Turner change his plan and play calling from one drive to the next. Because honestly, early on in the game, and I said it on our show on Friday. I said, this is a sneaky game where you're going to be tempted to want to throw the ball a lot because they give up yards, but they have 9 interceptions, which means they get their hands on the football.
Right.
I said, don't fall into that trap and run this pill. And every time he threw that ball, and it was like 3 and out, and they would throw. And I'm like, you're trying to trick yourself out of this one. Don't mess it up.
Well,
right?
and
don't mess it up.
And then look at the Brian Robinson touchdown was awesome. A little swing out of the backfield, and he took 2 guys with him into the end zone. That was awesome. But later in the game, when Heineke completes the touchdown pass to John Bates, they had run the heck out of the ball. I mean, I don't know if they threw maybe once or twice before that on that drive, but that set you up for a perfect throw. John Bates was wide open. I know you're not looking for the third tight end in that situation, second tight end, whatever he is, but the run had set up the pass, and that's what this team needs to do moving forward.
Yep.
I'm okay with Taylor Heineke, completing maybe 50% of his passes for 150 yards if it means that the running game is established and working.
Yeah, the running game. See, there it is.
Yeah,
When
thank
the
you.
bell goes off, that
Yeah,
means you said something. You
that's
said a
right.
word right there. Look,
Catchphrase.
that's the identity. I mean, the season going here from here on out is going to be cold. It's
Yeah,
wet. It's going to be rainy. I mean, you got New York, which is going to be outside, and then they're going to play New York again, which is going to be outside.
yep.
So you're going to have some weather involved in these games, but I gotta talk about Brian Robinson, man.
Oh,
18 for 105. I don't even think
angry.
I'm mad we didn't make him a banner. He deserves a banner. Brian Robinson, man, hats off to you, man. Big hat off to you.
Yeah, that's right.
18 for 105 on the ground, 5.8-yard average. That is an average that makes you top tier in this league. So that's absolutely
There
amazing.
we go. I added it. The B-Rob game.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. 18 for 105. Plus, he puts up 2 for 20, catching the ball with the most physical finish. Oh my gosh. He ran over 34 Hall and
Yeah.
didn't even budge.
No.
And then ran over other dude and then extended the ball in the end. That was a physical run. Love to see him have that type of a performance at home and help carry this team to victory.
I love watching Brian Baldy, on Twitter. He breaks down film, and he pointed out that it was absolutely true. The longer the game went on, the better Brian Robinson got. It was like, just keep feeding Eight the rock, because he's gonna keep chugging along there. I saw a stat yesterday, totally not off topic, but along the same lines. Josh Jacobs, they showed a stat that, like, when he carries the ball, which yesterday he was insane, but when he carries the ball, like, his first through 5 attempts are like 3-point yards something per carry. His 6 through 10 attempts are 4-point something, and his yards per average goes, his yards per carry goes up with the further into the game they get. I think Brian Robinson's the same thing. I think he kind of feels out the offense. I think he only had like 20 yards in the first half. And then once he gets going in the second half, he gets in a rhythm and he's unstoppable. He was running over guys. He was running through guys. It was impressive to see. And man, yeah, that was so cool to see him with the big hat. That was hilarious. That's got to be a new meme. But then the chance to address the team, you could tell, I thought he was going to start crying. I don't know if you watched that video, but he just kind of thanked his team and kind of being there to support him. And it was about time he had one of these games, and it was really cool to see.
It's absolutely awesome to just, obviously know how his season has been to get to this point, to have that type of a performance. That's amazing. But you got to think it's gonna have to trend upwards. I mean, you're gonna really need to lean on him to carry the ball and move the pile like they did this past week. So big shout out to Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they were setting up for this at the beginning of the season, right? Like, we were kind of hearing that he was going to be running back number 1. So we're kind of seeing what I think we would have seen had that unfortunate incident not happened. So yeah, it's awesome that it's finally coming around, and I'll take it late in the season over not at all. So yeah, it was cool to see. And I love in the post game, video. I would suggest everybody go watch it. He says what happens in August. Like, he doesn't even mention that he was shot twice. I mean, that's insane to say that, but it hasn't affected him. He hasn't used it as an excuse. And now to see the results coming from that hard work, it's impressive. And you're right. I think that, with a lot of cold weather games coming up, I think we're going to see more of 8 just carrying that pile with those offensive linemen diving on top of him, pushing him 2-3 yards past that. So I'm okay with that. I think that's December football. I think that's the recipe for this team. And I think it's a big reason, if not the main reason, that they're sitting at 7-5 right in the playoff hunt.
Yes, indeed. It's gonna push this team into the playoffs. I have my own thoughts of how this NFC East is gonna shake out. I personally feel the Giants will fall out. I really do.
Yeah.
I think their next 5-6 games or whatever's remaining, It doesn't set up well for them. They got to play
Yeah.
Washington twice. They got to play Philly twice. Then they have the Colts and Minnesota in there.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
they essentially have what 5 games against playoff teams as it
Yeah.
sits right now.
Well, and I want to go look at the stats, and I will before our preview show, but those are 4 or 5 teams that love to run the football. So if Washington can keep that up and kind of run over them for 2 straight
Yeah,
weeks,
yeah,
that would be nice. You could do a big part in knocking them out of this race. But keeping on the Commanders side of that aspect, we've done a good job of looking ahead to their next 3-4 games, and you got everything you want right in front of you. You got the team that is not only in your division right in front of you, but in the playoff seeding right in front of you. In the Giants, these next 2 games, and like you said, you got a chance to knock them out. Go get it. Go attack it. Earlier on, I was thinking, if you can split with your divisional opponents, I want both of these games against the Giants, and I think you can do it. I think you can absolutely do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they can. And that bye week being so late in the year, it's like a
Clutch.
diamond. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes me wonder, like, do you consider sitting Chase Young next week as well?
Well, I was going to bring this up in our preview, and I thought this was a good point. Josina Anderson, there were tweets coming out yesterday morning, that Chase wasn't going to play due to an illness on top of, fully coming back from his knee. And she brought up the good point of the turf at MetLife. Do you really want his first game to be on turf? And I know you can't avoid turf. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the league right now, which I think a lot of players hate, but if I'm the Commanders, I'm thinking you get that extra week with the bye week, and he comes back on natural grass at home.
Yeah,
It might be the move.
Well, but you also somebody, I think Grant Paulson shared it on Twitter, that during these past few weeks where Washington was playing away, there were no events at FedEx. There was new sod on the field. So new sod with the extra rain, that makes for extra slick surfaces. You saw Cordero Patterson slip at the end of the game. Right? That could have you know what I mean? You don't want to put a new knee on I don't want to say bad grass, because that's they put in new turf. And I think that's probably strategic. They're like, hey, let's put in some new grass. We're going to get Chase back. Let's make sure everything is good. It rained a lot. You don't want nobody stepping on your new side when it just rained, right? You're trying to get the roots to set, so it can have some strength about it. This has now turned into a lawn maintenance show. Welcome in.
I love it.
Believe in Curb Appeal.
Believe in turf.
Brian. Believe in turf. Yeah, sponsored by John Deere. Oh my gosh.
I'm with you though.
But you got to think about it. Illness. Okay, hey, if he has the sniffles and it's raining, hey, you don't want your guy to be out there. Like, you don't want your kid to be out there in the rain. I get that. Sure. But I do think it has to do a lot with the grass. Definitely didn't think about the turf for the following week. But like you said, you had that bye week. There's no need to rush it, because they're probably assuming we want them to win both games against New York.
Yeah.
They're probably assuming, hey, we probably can afford to split.
Right. Sure.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they'd be willing to split the one on the front end, bring them back after the bye week on some good turf on a nice dry day in Maryland.
That's right.
That could be a better play.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. So this team's got everything it needs going forward, and I like what they're doing. So if you had to take, we talked about our keys to the game, but one, I don't know, one play or one moment, what stood out to you the most? What is your lasting memory of this Atlanta game going to be? While as you're thinking about it, I'll give you mine. I think that for me, the biggest moment, there are a couple. I could say Brian Robinson, his whole game and all that, but I think the defense kind of bending and not breaking at a couple of different moments was huge. They got the 4th down stop at midfield. Taylor Heineke gave it right back, which was unfortunate, about halfway through the game. And then Deron Payne just getting his paw up there and creating that interception. So when you can not play your best and then come in the clutch. I think that's a sign of a winning team. And it's nice to know these guys didn't give up, because it would have been very easy for them to just kind of fall over backwards and let the Falcons get it in there at the end. And they didn't do that. And so that's nice to see. Even when the defense didn't have statistically a good day, they made a huge play when it mattered. And I think that's kind of been the lasting image of this game, but so far it's been the lasting image of this season. Just this team coming up with the one play, the one moment when it's mattered most.
All the way up to the end. That was a good one. When you said that question, I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, it's got to be how the defense just didn't back down. It's just like you just keep getting hit, and you just keep it's like T1000, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that was just a great performance by them. I would definitely say the defense. My biggest takeaway, and I'm not trying to cause no drama, but I'm trying to figure out what was going on with the play calling on offense. I feel like there were too many times. I think he made it more interesting than it needed to be.
Yeah.
You didn't necessarily have to go and try to throw the ball so much, even though you could. And it said the statistics showed that you had that opportunity to do so. I think he should have just ran the ball some more. He'll try to run for 250 at that point. That'd been my biggest takeaway. So just the takeaway is paying attention to the play calling moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, pick an identity and stick with it and continue that thing moving forward. Like, grow and build on it. I mean, I like getting Terry involved early, but there's no reason to have 3 and outs against a team that allows 47% conversion on third down.
Right.
Do what you just did to beat the best team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like they kind of were in the mode of take what they're giving us, but sometimes you got to just assert yourself and do what's gotten you there. And so I think that should be the key for the Commanders moving forward.
Look, teams that do well in this league and go deep into the season and the playoffs and beyond, they do what they want to the other team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand. Well, I'm going to take what they give us. Well, then if you're going to take what I'm going to give you, then I'm going to determine what you take.
Yeah. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Early in the season, everybody played deep because they knew it was going to make your quarterback check it down and then just rally and tackle.
Yep.
Once you started playing with some force and running the football and determining to the defense what you were going to, this is what's going to happen on first down, second down, and third down.
Mm-hmm.
Things started going well.
Yeah. So I think the recipe is there. I want to go look, and Taylor Heineke is still a limited. We're looking at a limited sample size in his starts this season and his entire career. But I'm willing to bet that when he throws the ball under 20 times, he's got to have a pretty solid record, because that's when he is at his best. When he has to make throws that matter, that's when he's at his best. But throwing the ball all around, that's not a recipe for success with him and with this team. So I'm with you. I think the play calling needs to be a little bit sharper. But again, after a win, it's a whole lot better to talk about what you can fix, because you still got the win in your pocket.
Yes, indeed. You get the win in your pocket. You got some new J's on your shoes.
That's right.
But that was all good. Now let's talk about definitely it's been a hot button topic. Very I'm gonna say controversial on the Twitter Spaces. I'm going to use the term that the team was used. The permanent installation is honoring Sean Taylor. It's not getting the best reviews. I think that I'd say on Twitter it's probably a good 80% are saying it's not so hot, and then 20% are happy that there's something up in there. They're thankful for it. So, did you have an initial thought on that, or what were your thoughts?
I've got a thought in two different mindsets. So, I am glad that they honored him for sure, and I saw how emotional his family got, and that made me happy with it, right? And I think his family, I don't know if they had a say in how it was done or what was used, whatever. If the family's happy, I'm happy. I'm cool with it. However, I feel like with last year and this year, both times were being rushed. There wasn't enough time. Maybe they had announced this one a little bit earlier, but it all felt rushed. And my theory behind that is that I think Dan Snyder knows one way or another, whether he's forced out or he is going to sell out. His days are numbered with this team. And above all else, for all his downfall, he is a fan first. And I think he loved Sean Taylor. And I think he so badly wants to be part of that moment in honoring him that he was willing to rush it. And even though it wasn't the greatest, they weren't the greatest moments, he wanted to be a part of it selfishly. And so I think that was part of it. It was a little underwhelming, and I wonder if once they have a new stadium, if they'll put something in a little bit nicer. But I saw the family felt honored and they were emotional, and so I'm okay with it. But I do think that they could have done it a little bit better, and I think there's some underlying factors there.
Yeah, I think the initially, you're just like, oh, okay, it was underwhelming because I think everybody's mind went to statue. I think even on our show when we were talking about it way back when they had the list of, this is what was happening on the different dates when they released, the schedule. I even said statue. I was thinking it was something that was going to be out front of FedEx.
Me too.
And then we were throwing around the part about, well, is it going to be there? Are they even going to have a stadium? Are they going to move? So a lot of other things went into it. I mean, obviously it was a decision that's well above our pay grade, something that we didn't have any, privy to get involved in. But, I agree with you in the sentiment that I'm glad that something was put up there.
Yeah.
Some of the finer details, like the taped face mask, I remember seeing, you would think that would be something that they would want to involve, but I also wasn't there. Didn't get to hear maybe the story behind the equipment. Maybe this is the last uniform that he wore, something, you know what I'm saying? So there are some missing pieces that you're trying to learn through the internet that you don't have, and I even saw that Dan Snyder did not address the crowd, and him and Sean were very close. I think that was a JP Finlay tweet. So that's something as well. But I mean, I think that, having a down the line, next ownership, I'm sure that they could come up with a statue or a bronze bust or something. Because if you're gonna move I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm upset. Oh my God, they botched this. I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna say that.
Me neither.
They put something together because the family. You obviously said the family was moved by it.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed. I just feel like I want a little bit more, I guess. I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah. And I mean, you go into the psychology side of it. Sometimes we selfishly want something bigger for somebody else, right? And then if it's not delivered in that way, then we're like, oh, what are you doing? But I mean, I think everybody, when you heard they're going to put up a permanent installation, everybody was like, he's getting a statue.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and but they also never said, whoa. It's not a statue.
Yeah.
Or they could say, this is the installation as it is now, but we're collaborating with an artist to come up with something. If that's what a plan is, let people know.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Tell them that's what it is.
Keep them updated, because it's not just a team thing. This guy meant a lot to the fans, and so they want to be a part of it. And it's obvious. The fact that we're talking about there was any negativity is proof that he means so much to the fans. They want the best for him and his family. So keep us updated a little bit more. I think that would help with a lot of this.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, honoring a legend regardless. So I'm glad that there's something at FedEx. So if you're going to the games, go pay homage.
Yeah.
Go pay homage to a legend in there, in his own right.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if they keep the 21 on the helmet. I think that would be kind of cool. I'm not sure if that's planned or not, but it's awesome that there's something there to honor a guy that meant so much to everybody.
Absolutely. I say you ride out with it. With it.
Me too.
On top of honoring Sean Taylor, you also get to enjoy yourself Victory Monday. You get to have a little Freakin Monday. So, Brian, do you have a Freakin Monday, or should I go first?
I got a freaking mind. I just stay with what's working. You know, you can nitpick and you can take some things. Just stay with what's working. Run the heck out of the football. Make some timely throws. Let that defense turn the ball over and get some key sacks. Keep rolling with it. I think this team is built for the home stretch here, especially with cold weather games. Like we said, so stay with it. Is my freaking Monday.
Hey, I like that one because that's generally what I always say. Hey, stay the course, keep beating the drum.
Yeah.
That's the way that you end up winning. My freaking Monday is it's always 24-hour rules in effect. You always know that, right? We got to get back to it and get rolling. But look, I want you to take a brief look ahead and then get back to work. I want you to look and see what's coming up down the pike. Division opponent, bye week, division opponent. Who else? Who else in there?
I don't know the order, but 49ers, Cleveland.
Yes, that's it. 49ers,
Dallas.
Cleveland, Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got a pretty, you see what your roadmap is looking like. You see what you've come from. Your freaking Monday is, hey, let's be real. Let's realize where we're at. Understand what you have to gain in front of you. All right. That's my freaking Monday. Okay. You got the victory, get back to work. You got it all laid out in front of you. You determine where you go and how the season ends.
I love it. You have your trip in your own hands. You have your plan in your own hands. Now go about it. So love it. I love talking victories. Hopefully there are many more to come with 5 games left. And if you're gonna bet, I would bet on the Commanders right now. They're hot, and stay with them and use our guys bet line and use our code BELIEVE. No better time right now to Commanders. They're in the playoff hunt right now, and they're in the playoff picture right now. So stick with it. Any thoughts? Wrap up another victory pod.
Man, it always feels better with a win. It always feels better with a win.
That's right.
I don't know. My last thing, you mentioned a few years ago, 7-9 won the division. And people were like, oh, but you were 7-9. Now you've got 7 wins and you're technically 4th in the division. But you're about to head to the playoffs. This is a crazy, crazy league. Winning always cures all.
Yep.
Always find a way to put up dubs.
That's right. That's right. Well, hopefully we got more to talk about, but enjoy your Monday, enjoy your victory Monday, and let's get back to work and beat the Giants 2 straight weeks, 2 straight games. Let's do it. We'll talk about it. We'll be back to preview the first matchup, but you guys always reach out, and thank you for listening, watching, and you can check us out all over the place on TuneIn, Sirius Stadium, all your favorite streaming platforms. Be sure to check us out, and thank you for checking us out.
See you guys later.
Be good.